Senator Pratt.
Thank you. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Industry and Science, Minister Watt. The Albanese government went to the election promising to rebuild Australia's manufacturing capability and deliver a future made in Australia. We know this vision for our nation cannot be achieved without a safe and well-paid workforce. What will be the impact of Labor's tax cuts on Australian workers in the manufacturing industry?
Minister Watt.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Senator Pratt, who I know has had a very long history of supporting the manufacturing industry and manufacturing workers in this country. And unlike those opposite, Senator Pratt and everyone on this side of the chamber believes in Australian manufacturing. We don't go around shutting down car industries and shutting down the manufacturing industry. We actually support manufacturing, and they don't like being reminded of closing down the car industry.
Order. Minister Watt. Order. Minister Gallagher.
Point of order. I was just going to say the interjections from those opposite are making it difficult to hear Senator Watt.
They are indeed, and I would again remind senators that they are to listen in respectful silence. Minister Watt. Senator McKenzie, I've just called the chamber to order. I've asked for respectful silence. I don't want the interjections to continue. Minister Watt.
Thank you, President. Geez, aren't they touchy about their history of closing down the car industry? We always know the things you don't want to talk about because it wakes you from your slumber and you start deciding to become a viable, human entity again. Well, unlike all of you opposite, Senator Pratt believes in a future made in Australia, and so does everyone over this side of the chamber. And unlike those opposite who drove car manufacturing into the ground—
Please resume your seat. Senator Henderson and Senator Rennick, you are out of order, seriously, both of you. Yelling and pointing across the chamber, Senator Henderson, is disrespectful. And yelling out at the top of your voice, Senator Rennick, is also disrespectful. I ask people to listen in respectful silence. Minister Watt, please continue.
Thank you, President. As I was saying, unlike those opposite who drove car manufacturing into the ground, we are taking action to help Australian business to grow, and we're making sure that manufacturing workers prosper at the same time. That's why we're taking such action on cost of living pressures, and we're improving job security, and that is why we are giving Australian manufacturing workers a tax cut. What does it mean in practice? Well, Senator Pratt, you'd be aware, I'm sure you've had a Bundaberg ginger beer over the years. Let's look at, and it's a business that I know Senator Chisholm as well is very familiar with in my state of Queensland, an entry-level worker at the Bundaberg production line or in the brew house or in the warehouse, the people who make the magic happen, they make around $50,000 a year. With Labor's tax cuts, a worker at that plant will be $955 a year better off. Now, those opposite have been happy to accuse the government of stifling ambition, of not believing in aspiration, of discouraging workers from improving their lot in life. Well, if that worker at Bundaberg gains the experience to get an even higher paid job at $65,000 a year, they'll be over $1,300 a year better off as a result of Labor's tax cuts.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Pratt, first supplementary.
Thank you. From metal workers to food processors, we know that manufacturing workers play a critical role in the day-to-day lives of all Australians. So how will Labor's tax cuts ensure all manufacturing workers are able to keep more of what they earn, and why is this so important?
Thank you, Senator Watt.
Thank you, President, and thank you again, Senator Pratt. As we've indicated repeatedly, Labor stands for manufacturing workers and all workers to earn more and keep more of what they earn. And I'm very pleased to inform Senator Pratt that it isn't just food and beverage manufacturing workers who will benefit from Labor's tax cuts. It is all manufacturing workers in my state of Queensland, in Senator Pratt's state of Queensland and everywhere else around Australia. To give you another example, workers at Capral Aluminium in Bremer, near Ipswich in Queensland, who work at the biggest aluminium extrusion plant in Australia, making aluminium products for use as windows, doors, ute trays and much, much more, they will also benefit from Labor's tax cuts. A full-time entry-level production worker at Bremer at the Capral plant currently makes around $52,000 a year, and they'll enjoy more than $1,000 from Labor's tax cuts. And with a pay rise through gaining extra expertise, earning up to $73,000, they will get more than $1,500 a year from Labor's tax cuts.
Thank you,
Our
Minister.
tax cuts are good for workers
Time
in
has
manufacturing.
expired. Senator Pratt, second supplementary.
Thank you. When Labor's tax cut policy was announced, and without even seeing the details, those opposite promised to fight this legislation through the House of Representatives and the Senate, saying we're not prepared to give up on this. So, Minister, why is it so important that manufacturing workers benefit from Labor's tax cuts?
Thank you, Senator Pratt. Minister Watt.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. Well, again, manufacturing workers had to suffer too long under a coalition government, in fact 10 years too long, seeing that industry wound down, seeing their wages suppressed, seeing their jobs become more insecure, and that is changing under the Labor Party. Manufacturing workers are finally getting the respect they deserve, and now they will be better off thanks to Labor's tax cuts. But that isn't all that we've been doing in this space since coming to government. Across the manufacturing industry, workers are earning more since Labor came to government. The average full-time earnings for manufacturing workers since Labor came to office are up by $145 a week. There are also more manufacturing workers since Labor came to power, more than 85,000 additional secure, well-paid jobs in manufacturing, many of them in outer suburban and regional communities. And thanks to Labor's tax cuts, a worker earning the average full-time manufacturing wage will be nearly $1,900 better off. Under Labor, you'll earn more and keep more of what you earn.